Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today is Tuesday, December 11th, 2018, and we're going to go through a 2020 presidential election prediction between former Secretary Hillary Clinton, the 2016 presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, versus, of course, the incumbent President Donald Trump. So right now we are currently starting off with a blank slate for the electoral map, when we have 0 electoral votes, obviously, for both sides. We're going to start out by filling in all the safe states. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we are on the safe toss-up and other only, and then we can go ahead and start filling in the safe states for Hillary Clinton and then the safe states for Donald Trump. So going up into the Northeast, again, this is Democratic territory in almost every election, disregarding some governor elections, but pretty much this map will be around the same in terms of safe states. As for safe Donald Trump states, we can go ahead and start characterizing a number of these areas. Now, some of these states I used to characterize as safe GOP states against Hillary Clinton. Not saying that she's all of a sudden a better candidate. It's just that the 2018 results may prove to the contrary in terms of calling this state a quote-unquote safe state. So we've already zoomed in to a number of safe states, 125 electoral votes for Donald Trump and 183 for, Hillary Clinton. I'm just going to call her Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, rather than using formal titles. And that leaves a total of 231 electoral votes up for grabs. So go ahead and look back at the 2016 results. We look at a map where Donald Trump was able to carry states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, the 3 states that were vital to his election win. If you take those 3 states and land them in the Clinton column in 2016, she would be our president right now, and the 2018 midterms would have not happened the same way they happened. And again, the Democratic Party probably should have been thankful. Looking at that map, they could have lost up to 10 seats if it was based off the 2016 map alone. And especially if there was a Democratic president, even though there would be only 7 seats that Donald Trump won in 2016, if Clinton was able to carry these 3 key Rust Belt states, again, there's no guarantee that those would stay safe in the Democratic column. Right now, just looking at the map, Donald Trump is pretty much at a disadvantage. We're looking at a number of states like North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Texas, which are typically Republican states. We look at a number of these states as well. In the past 20 years, only 2 Democrats have actually won statewide elections in a state like Florida. And Florida has always been boasted as one of the closest races. All the time, candidates go here time and time again. Clinton spent a lot of her time here. Donald Trump definitely spent a lot of his time here. And obviously, there's only one winner. And if you look back at 2018, Democratic wave year. Well, the Republican Party won by over 5% in the House vote. Then you look at the Senate vote. They were able to win there by less than 1% along with the governorship. But still, a win is a win regardless. That means that Rick Scott's in there for 6 years, and Ron DeSantis is in there for another 4 years. Not another 4 years. The Republican Party's in there for another 4 years. And looking at a number of these other states, yes, they were closer. The only one that you could truly make an argument in changing where it was in 2016 is the state of Arizona. In 2016, John McCain went up for his election there, but then now, in 2018, 2 years later, it goes to a Democrat statewide. In fact, it was won with Kyrsten Sinema getting more of the vote statewide than Donald Trump in 2016, which is something that really surprised me, considering that he was able to beat Hillary Clinton there. The margin was definitely larger for Donald Trump, which you could make the argument that without the Libertarians, Donald Trump would have a larger margin. But Kyrsten Sinema was able to get more of the vote in terms of overall percentage than Donald Trump. So with 125 electoral votes for Donald Trump, where can he make up the margin? So first of all, the remaining states are not going to be characterized as safe states. The remainder of this map will either be leaning, likely, or toss-up. And a lot of you guys did not want me to do toss-up states, so chances are I won't have any toss-ups at the end of this video. But there are some states that we can pretty much get out of the way straight off the bat. The state of Texas is probably going to be a likely state, especially with someone like Hillary Clinton running. Beto O'Rourke is the only real candidate I think that could make it a pure swing state or lean GOP state, but it's a stretch putting it in any column for the Democrats, especially in a presidential election year. In the midterm year, that Senate election in Texas was the only thing that Texans cared about. The governorship was already safe Republican, only a couple contested House elections, whereas the Senate election was very close, especially for someone like Ted Cruz. Unfortunately for the GOP, it looks like they're losing their hold on Texas, not because of just Beto O'Rourke, but because of a number of things that are shifting in terms of demographics statewide. In fact, a number of political pundits do say that in future elections, Texas could actually become a lean blue state, which again, if you take away Texas's 38 electoral votes from Donald Trump in 2016, he loses the election. Keep that in mind. He gets 268 electoral votes without Texas, 306 with it. So again, without the Rust Belt, even if the GOP is able to hold on to the Rust Belt, which seems possible in this type of scenario between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, if they're losing Texas, then that's a whole ball game. But of course, in this scenario, they are not losing the state of Texas. There's another state that could be characterized as a likely state, and I would characterize the state of Georgia this time around as a likely state. Yes, I do see the argument that Hillary Clinton could do better amongst African American voters than Donald Trump. But if you look back at her 2016 numbers, she was able to make it a lean GOP state, but very narrowly. This was not a 1-point margin for either candidate. In fact, in 2018, Stacey Abrams was not able to carry it, even though it was a very hyped up governorship. And I get it, Republican state, which is exactly why it's in the Republican column. I'm not saying this margin is going to be 11, 12%. No, I'm saying it's just going to be larger than 5% because I do think that Donald Trump could gain in terms of voters, especially going against someone like Hillary Clinton all over again. With 182 electoral votes for Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump certainly has gone back up there. We look at a number of other states. The state of Ohio right now, I would characterize as a likely state. I mean, nearing a 9-point margin in 2016, along with the state of Iowa, which near double digits. Those two states themselves, I don't see any new type of change, especially for someone like Hillary Clinton. She couldn't even carry these states. She could not even carry these states the first time. And that's not really a knock to her considering she lost the election and that she could improve based off her political performance. Her approval rating has only narrowly gone up. I've seen a number of reports saying it actually has gone down, but if you just look at the overall spread, it has narrowly gone up by a couple of percentage points, but that doesn't mean much. But however, there is a difference between a pre-election, pre-presidency approval rating and then a current post-presidency approval rating. And a lot of people like to draw parallels. Donald Trump won the election at 33% approval rating. That's different than when he actually is in the presidency because he actually has responsibilities now. So again, I don't really like using prior election numbers, comparing them to now, except for in this case because we are getting a rerun of the same candidate who some opinion pollsters do actually want to get information about her. I remember the only Trump versus Clinton poll shows her winning by 5%. Again, that is very shocking to me. The fact that the Americans would show her winning by 5%, especially since she finished the election with +2, +3 in all the polls. That's just very surprising to me, to be completely honest with you. Looking at other states like Virginia, you can expect those states to probably be lean Democratic states. New Mexico actually and Virginia, I'm actually going to move into the likely Democratic column. Those are the first two that you think about when you think Democratic states. The state of Virginia right now, I do think Hillary Clinton could narrowly pick it up. Not narrowly, sorry. A margin larger than 5%, but still less than like 10%. Along with New Mexico, both of those states she was able to carry back in 2016. The only reason why I think she could expand her lead in Virginia is because it's become a more Democratic state since 2016. I know that's hard to believe, but it definitely is happening. Looking at the state of Colorado, we can go ahead and characterize that state as a lean Democratic state. Now, as for states like Arizona and North Carolina and Florida, those are three states I'm going to characterize as lean Republican states. Yes, Arizona did go to a Democrat in 2018, but Florida and North Carolina did not. And North Carolina, in fact, the Democratic Party wins the popular vote there if they had fielded a candidate in every race. And they only have 3 congressional districts, whereas the GOP has 10, possibly 9, based off the new election that's probably going to be held in North Carolina's 9th district. But that's besides the point. Looking at these 3 individual states, they are pretty Republican states, just based off prior history. Looking at 2016, looking at elections before that, looking at all the statewide elections. Arizona just went to a Democrat one time. If this is a consistent thing, then maybe. But not for someone like Hillary Clinton, and probably not in 2020 in a presidential election year. The next time will probably either be in a presidential election year for the Senate election or 2022. Now, with 71 electoral votes to go, where can Hillary Clinton make up the margin? Well, first of all, I do think she could put the first district in the state of Maine in the likely column. As for the state of Pennsylvania, that one actually I do want to come back to. I really do not want to focus too heavily on that one at this point. But looking at the states themselves, I do think Donald Trump can definitely improve in a couple of these states, but I do think that his lead is dwindling in a couple of areas. Right now, I would say that he could do pretty well in the 2nd district, keep that one in the lean column. I do think Hillary Clinton could narrowly carry on to the state of Minnesota. Looking at the 2nd district, I think that district could be a safe state for Donald Trump. And as for Maine at large, I do think Hillary Clinton is going to narrowly carry that one and put it in the lean Democratic column at the end of the day. That puts Trump at 260 electoral votes, Hillary Clinton at 222. Right now, looking at the 3 Rust Belt states, this effectively makes Donald Trump the next president or reelected as president of the United States of America. At this point in time, he has effectively won the 3 Rust Belt states, totaling his lean electoral votes to 102, and there's likely to be a couple more added in a couple seconds. So right now, looking at these few Rust Belt states, why did they go to the GOP again? So number one, yes, there is a huge argument that these states are making a Democratic shift and a Democratic turn, but Hillary Clinton may not be that candidate. She is not that candidate based off this election and prediction. Joe Biden is that candidate. Bernie Sanders is that candidate. A couple of other Democratic top names could be that candidate. Hillary Clinton probably isn't it. She's already ran a first time. She lost in these 3 states. Her approval rating hasn't really gone up that much, and if she was to improve, it would need to be drastic. And yes, Donald Trump did win these states by less than 1%, but Florida was won by 0.2% and 0.4% in 2 statewide elections. It's really hard to make a clear argument as to how these states can go in favor of Hillary Clinton if she's not able to improve any other part of the country. In fact, the only area where she's really quote-unquote improving in is probably Virginia and maybe Texas. Looking over the state of Nevada and New Hampshire, I'm going to put both of those states in the Donald Trump column. And this seems like it may be a little bit more in favor of Donald Trump than you might expect. However, I just think Hillary Clinton is a very weak candidate for 2020. I do not think she's going to run at this point in time. But again, anything is possible 2 years from now, but this is the election as it stands today between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.